All right, so we're out here with Shadow. We're at a big spot here. You can see there is a PetSmart and a bunch of random restaurants and GameStop and Home Depot and whatnot. And I wanted to teach a little bit about how to walk with your dog. So sometimes you might get the idea that there's really only two things you can do on walks with the dog. You have like a training walk, and then you have a wild goose chase walk, right? So on one hand, you have one walk where it's really structured, really disciplined, and you're like telling them, oh, you know, you gotta sit, you gotta recall, you gotta do all this stuff, you gotta heel, and you put them in the heel and they stay in the heel for, 30 minutes on your walk, right? Or you have the other walk, which is like, oh, this is free playtime walk for the dog, and you're just gonna let him run all over the place. We could let Shadow just go crazy, go nuts. But an in-between of those two things is better. And I think that that's one of the best ways to maintain any kind of training with your dog is to, how did you do this? There you go, mama, good. Is to actually just structure your walks that way as a kind of like balanced in-between option. So let's go, Shadow, come on. Good job. So you'll notice like, I'm not asking her to do anything. She's not in any kind of command right now. So she's really free to do what she wants. She can walk beside me, or she can go sniff things, and she could use the bathroom, which that's another thing. When you take your pup on walks, like I'm taking Shadow out right now, and I have a few other dogs I'm going to be walking with today, those first 3 to 5 minutes definitely should not involve any kind of commands or a lot of structure or anything like that, only because then they're being put in a situation where realistically, if they say need to use the bathroom, which say you had them in the car for 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 20 minutes, then they're going to get punished for trying to go to the bathroom potentially, because they're going to wander or they're going to start sniffing things, and they're going to be kind of all over the place and trying to look for a place that they want to use the bathroom, and then they might get punished for that. So those first 3 to 5 minutes most of the time are just super unstructured. But then even the rest of the walk, it doesn't have to be super structured. In fact, say that you have a dog that has some behavioral issues or has had behavioral issues in the past. Shadow didn't have any major behavioral issues. I mean, she's only about 5 months old, 5.5, 6 months old, somewhere in that range. I think 6 months old now. Come on, Shadow. Good girl. So a lot of times those cases can have a lot of progress just by doing a fairly unstructured walk, while you are walking around with them and letting them have a good amount of freedom. Right now, it's just on the end of a 6 foot. You could even use a 10-foot leash or a retractable leash, or a 20 to 30 foot long line or retractable, either one. Or you can just stay close to them on the 6 foot. Giving them that kind of freedom allows them to, at least the idea that I have is see the world, right? They can see that there's a lot more to do other than, just be hyper vigilant about what's going on around them and constantly looking to fight with something, or kind of being scared of things or reacting. That kind of hypervigilance can go away, and instead you can have a lot more relaxed walk. There we go, see? So those first 3 to 5 minutes, you might want to allow an opportunity for some pee or some poop, and that will also help when it comes to, and we'll have to walk back by here and pick this up obviously, but it will allow you to avoid accidents inside of places too. Like say you want to go into PetSmart, which is actually where we're heading right now, or you want to go into Home Depot, which is where we're going to head after this. Let's go! Then you can avoid having accidents inside of those stores. Now, another thing that I want to flag on walks is that I'm not constantly giving them their recall command or their heel command. Instead, very often, if say like right now, they're kind of getting over there and you're giving them lots of freedom, so they're looking at stuff, but say you just need them to come with you and you're just ready, like, hey, they're not doing anything especially wrong, but they're also not in any kind of command, but you just want to communicate to them, hey, like, let's keep going, right? Or you just are kind of wanting to tell them to be in a radius with you. I like to use the term let's go, and then a lot of times I'll make just like a little noise. So that's not something that's always talked about, but it's something that a lot of people do. Just the other day on a drop-off I did, I watched one of our clients do it naturally. So this is a perfect example. She's putting a little pressure on the leash there. Let's go. Let's go. Good. Good job, Shadow. Good girl. Right, and so that's all you got to do is just say let's go. Because she's been trained not to put very much pressure on the leash. But if she does, then you can just, she hasn't done anything wrong. So you can just tell her, let's go. Right, so she's just smelling some stuff. Nope. There we go. But if she does and kind of insist after you've told her, like, let's go, then all you're going to want to do there is just use that command nope. So nope is something that's very useful on walks and in lots of other scenarios. But I'll keep it brief here and not explain everything. That's for a different video. But, in this kind of setting, just like on the walk, once your dog has been trained to understand that marker word or that command nope, and you have like a kind of what you might call a nope event, then they can be easily corrected and called back towards you by using nope. So right there, she didn't really want to come when I asked her to let's go. And so I used nope. And what all you're looking really for is just a little bit of suppression, and then for them to come off of whatever they were doing, or to obey the command that you gave them. And that allows you to avoid kind of having to constantly correct. You're kind of being patient, you're being fair, you're giving them a minute to comply, because realistically, your dog is interested in things, right? They're looking at stuff. There's people and sights and sights and sounds and smells that they haven't come across before, and they want to explore those things, and that's part of the point of being on the walk, right? So you don't want to keep them, here all the time. Kind of on guardrails. You want to let them explore, but then you have the opportunity to ask them, let's go, or to correct them if they go to eat trash or do something else that's inappropriate. Now, the commands that we teach and that you're going to want to practice with them are also useful on walks. The reason that I use let's go a lot of times is because I'm not wanting to put them in a command. So if I recall them, then they're going to come and sit, right? They're going to come up to me and they're going to want to know, okay, what now, right? So if I recall, then they're going to be looking for a secondary command after that to follow up. So as an example, Shadow, here. Right, so she's coming up to me and sitting now. So the reason that I'm not using that every time I need her to come back to me while we're walking is because then she's doing this now, right? Now she's super focused on me. Yes, good girl. Good job. She's super focused on me now. She was looking for a treat. She's looking for another command. She's come up and sit now. Whereas, when we're just walking somewhere together, let's go just tells her, we're gonna keep going, right? And I just need you to keep walking with me. Whereas doing the recall command here is going to make it where they're now looking for another command. Shadow, here. Yes, good. And you also notice I do have a treat pouch on me, but I'm not constantly like, oh, yes, right? Constantly reinforcing a heel, constantly reinforcing a sit, constantly reinforcing stay, this, that. Now you can do all of those things on the walk. For instance, say that you want to like cross the road or something like that, and there's some cars coming. You can take that as an opportunity to do a little bit of training. Shadow, let's go. Good girl. Shadow, sit. Nope. There you go, good girl. Now I probably could have waited a little bit more there and given her a chance to sit. Shadow, stay. Nope. There you go. Shadow, sit. She has a tendency to want to stay pretty close to me. Shadow, stay. Nope. Stay. There you go. Nope. Nope. She does well on the place cot. But again, this is an opportunity that you can have to practice some of these commands while you're out with your dog. And she's really young. Good. That's good. Thank you. Yes. We won't push that right now. Good girl. But you don't have to treat over and over and over again. So those are a few things that are good for you to remember. And those are things that can be useful anytime you're taking your dog for a walk.